I know the hear word. I know the hear word. I get coconut head. I get big ear. But I know the hear word.
Good day and welcome to another episode of Unscripted Voices podcast. My name is Godswill Emelogo. Did you know that Nigeria has one of the highest number of citizens in the diaspora among other African countries? I know you know that, but did you know that most Nigerians travel overseas with the very mediocre mindset they lived in Nigeria with? These behaviors and mindsets prevent them from achieving excellence in the workplace and in the communities where they reside in. Today's episode, I'll try to highlight some of these attitudes that we condone in Nigeria that are frowned upon heavily in Western societies. Please come along with me. Number one on my list today is African time. Most Nigerians arrive on Western shores without defeating that evil spirit that makes them go to everything late. In Nigeria, you went late to church, to work, to every function. And in fact, when an event is scheduled for 4 p.m., everyone subconsciously knows that the host actually expects them to arrive by 6:30 p.m. Then people begin to assume that if I explain this African time thing long enough, my workplace will understand. Well, your workplace will begin by cutting your pay to account for the time you do not arrive on time. Then they carry out a performance review and then they fire you. Because in the West, time is a currency, and we have unfortunately brought that bad behavior of being habitually late to everything to this land. We have all manner of excuses to give for being late. We think we are gaming the system. No, you're not. They just know your game, but they haven't found a replacement yet. Number two on my list is horrible work ethics. Yes, we know we work a lot. Nigerians in the diaspora put in more work hours than probably every Nigerian living in Nigeria combined. What we don't understand sometimes, however, is that it's not the business, not the fault of employer A that you have taken up employment with employer B. So it's expected that every time you come to work, you perform optimally when you are at each employment. However, most of us arrive at work and display very lackadaisical behaviors. And then when you're caught out, you begin to shout, "My boss is a racist." And have you considered doing your work to the best of your ability before claiming that you are pulled over because of racism? I once heard someone who threatened his boss with go ask about me in Nigeria, because the person was the court is when he was in Nigeria. Okay, you will end up in jail. So some of us are completely invisible at our workplace and would rather die than take up extra responsibilities that can make us stand out at our workplaces. By the way, it's not your father's business. We are good in cutting corners and taking all manner of shortcuts. Number three is gossiping. You see, most Nigerians in diaspora are there without legacy, family, and friends. Then in some communities, workplace relationships overlap with social relationships. This is a recipe for gossip. Sometimes people you have never met before nor spoken to in your life have all your gist and are modifying it even as they spread it along. On those drives and those boring jobs, they just go off tangent and find one sweet gossip about Godswill and his wife. Auntie, mind your own business. Uncle, mind your business. Number four is difficulties to abide by the rules. If you grew up in Nigeria, you will know that with the right amount of money and connection, you are above the law. Well, most Nigerians will get into trouble over and over again after they arrive because no one really enforced rules for them before they got here. Do not exceed the speed limit to some Nigerians. It's more of a guideline than an actual rule, and some naturally begin to find loopholes in these rules. Noise and unnecessary loudness is number five. If you grew up in or ever live in Lagos, you may not realize how loud you are because we are naturally excitable people. To talk we shout, we listen to music in the highest. Sometimes your colleagues may even feel you're upset with them because of how loud your voice is. Number six is family and domestic violence. Some Nigerian men want their wife to work and pull in funds, cook, clean, and carry out childcare activities without rendering any help, and while expecting the women to submit themselves and their money to them because I'm the head of the family. The woman has no opinion and she lives subserviently because you paid for the visa and the flight that brought her abroad. Okay, CUC bankruptcy. You will sleep outside though. They will chase you out. You see, you used to slap the hell out of her and turn her into a punching bag in Nigeria because Nigeria is a society that condones those rubbish. Here, Oga, you will go to jail. Most women do not have a voice in Nigeria, but in the West, their voices are louder than yours. Throw away your rubbish mindset that your wife is your slave before you get on that flight. If you can't, then do not follow her, sir. Because, sir, you will chop jail and you will lose everything. Stop marrying a woman because her prospects are your expected ticket to liberation. I will not contribute money for you, sir. You see, I don't have an exhaustive list of all these bad vices and behavior that we bring abroad. But I want us to think about the fact that we are in a different culture, in a different society that do not understand our manner of thinking. A boss once told me that he had worked with 43 Africans, and before I joined, and I was the only one who was ever on time and whoever did the job well. That's not a good representation of what we are. You see, no one will understand your concept of African time because time is global. If you are expected to start work by 10, be at work by 10. Stop making up excuses. You see, some of us will never drive by the speed limit unless we are scared of the cops. Stop treating your wife like a slave. Come to this country with decorum. Behave like someone who is mature. Stop behaving like you're from the bush because you're not from the bush. They say that he who goes to a frog's house should squat the way the frog is squatting. If you felt attacked in any way, well, it's because one of these things I've said affects you. I challenge you to change your mindset and change the way you operate. Thank you for taking our time to join me on today's episode. I expect to see you again on the next one. Take care for now. Bye. I remain God's will. Emelogo. See you.